believe that Donald Trump's recent decisions could push the world toward another global war? What would be the fate of Egypt and Jordan if such a war were to break out? Who would stand with them and offer support? Would they face the United States alone, or would other nations join their side? And in the end, could America itself collapse under the weight of its actions? More importantly, will Trump remain in power despite the reckless decisions he continues to make, imposing his will on the world as if it were his to control?
ترامب أحياناً بتخرج منه بعض التصرفات اللي ممكن تسبب ضرر للمنظومة.
أرى أبواب الملاجئ النووية أو الذرية بتفتح أبوابها لاستقبال مئات أو الآلاف البشر وخلال السنوات القادمة، كما أرى الدولار الأمريكي بالعالم في هبوط وانهيار.
They will do it. They will do it.
The story begins with Donald Trump, the newly elected president of the United States, who entered the global scene with force, determined to prove that the legend of Mama America is far from over. He made it clear that his orders must be obeyed immediately by everyone. One of his most controversial recent decisions revolves around the forced displacement of Palestinians and its connection to Egypt. To understand why this matter is so critical to Trump, you must know that he has been advocating for it since his campaign days, even as early as his first term in 2018, repeatedly stating that Palestinians should be relocated. At that time, the decision was not implemented, but Israel continued to pressure him to act on it. This time, however, Trump appears determined to silence any voices supporting Palestine and Gaza. It is not just a vague notion, but an explicit declaration. He aims to eradicate any pro-Palestinian sentiment within the United States. His appointment of Alice Stephanie as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations made this clear. In an interview with Fox News, she stated that her first priority would be to deport all students who support Palestine, labeling them as rioters and accusing them of seeking to eliminate Israel and Jewish people worldwide. She expressed shock at the existence of such views within American universities. This policy will soon be implemented across all U.S. departments under a project known as Esther, allegedly to counter Hamas-led movements. However, in reality, it is nothing more than a crackdown on free speech, ensuring that no one can object when catastrophic events unfold. A chilling example of this came just days later when Trump declared, "If Hamas does not release the hostages, I will unleash hell on the Middle East." Just before his inauguration, Trump announced that he had convinced Netanyahu to agree to a ceasefire in Gaza, stating that he would negotiate with Hamas once he officially took office to seek a better solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The announcement sparked hope, but behind this truce lay a hidden agenda. Initially, humanitarian aid flowed into Gaza, seemingly as a goodwill gesture. However, this was merely the first phase of the plan. The following stages involved Hamas releasing all Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of select Hamas leaders, on the condition that they be exiled from Gaza. But if any developments occurred after their release, Israel threatened to execute all remaining detainees. This raised justified concerns across the Arab world. Who could guarantee that, once Israel regained its hostages, it wouldn't continue its oppressive actions against Palestinians? Then, on January 25th, Trump addressed the Arab nations, presenting his argument from a humanitarian standpoint. Have you not seen what has happened to the Palestinians? Egypt and Jordan should take them in and build housing for them. They cannot live amid this destruction. But when asked about the future of the Palestinian cause, he responded vaguely, "We will consider that once Palestine is rebuilt." He then hinted that reconstruction could take 15 years or more. When pressed on whether this was a temporary or permanent solution, he replied, "It could be either." Jordan's Minister of Interior, Ayman Safadi, responded firmly, "Jordan is for Jordanians and Palestine is for Palestinians. Our stance against displacement is unwavering and unchangeable." He reiterated that a two-state solution remains the only viable path to peace. Egypt, too, issued an official statement via its foreign ministry, outright rejecting the forced displacement of Palestinians. The statement classified Israel as an occupying power, reinforcing Egypt's recognition of Palestinian sovereignty and warning that any forced relocation could lead to war. In a formal press conference, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi declared, "Forcing Palestinians out of their land is an injustice that Egypt will not be part of. Our stance on the Palestinian issue is steadfast and will never change. This plan directly threatens Egypt's national security." He also confirmed that he would engage with Trump to advocate for a two-state solution, which remains the only legitimate path to peace. However, Trump disregarded these statements, insisting that both Egypt and Jordan would comply with his demands. Speaking to journalists in the Oval Office, he said, "They will do as we ask. We provide them with substantial support, and they must follow through."
Egypt's president and the King of Jordan have both said that they won't take in displaced people from Gaza like you suggested. Is there anything you can do to make them do that? I mean, tariffs against those countries, for example?
They will do it. They will do it.
Meanwhile, Israel's Jerusalem Post published an article featuring side-by-side images of President el-Sisi and Iran's late President Ibrahim Raisi, sparking speculation about whether this was a veiled threat toward Egypt for resisting the relocation plan. Beyond political pressure, Trump resorted to economic threats, imposing new tariffs and banking restrictions that could drive up prices and worsen economic instability in the region. He also reversed Biden's ban on heavy weapons shipments to Israel, approving a new $1 billion arms deal, raising fears that Israel is preparing for an all-out war. Some may ask, why don't Egypt and Jordan accept Palestinian refugees for their safety? The answer is simple. Doing so would permanently erase the Palestinian cause. The displaced would never be allowed to return, granting Israel and the U.S. complete control over Palestinian lands. Even Palestinians themselves have made it clear. They would rather die on their land than lose their homeland forever. Israel's expansionist ambitions have fueled ongoing conflicts, and its aggressive policies are becoming increasingly evident. Egypt's firm rejection of forced displacement was both brave and strategic. Despite growing economic pressures, unity remains essential to navigating this crisis. During a meeting with Netanyahu, Trump made a shocking statement: "Either you leave or you die." He even spoke of turning Palestinian lands into luxurious resorts, without Palestinians. His remarks startled even Israeli journalists, who admitted that Trump's rhetoric had surpassed all expectations. Saudi Arabia also rejected Trump's plan, reaffirming its unwavering stance on Palestine. In a rare display of unity, Egypt, the UAE, Qatar, Jordan, and Palestine issued a joint statement condemning the forced displacement. Their position was echoed by global powers, including France, the UK, Germany, Russia, Turkey, China, Australia, Spain, Brazil, Scotland, and the European Union. Will Trump proceed with his plan despite overwhelming international opposition? Could this ignite a global war? Is this the long-feared conflict that many have warned about? And how will Egypt navigate these mounting challenges? One thing is certain: Egypt is a formidable nation, backed by its strong military and resilient people. It must never be underestimated. May we all remain safe in these uncertain times. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. If you've made it this far, you're truly amazing. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time!